Good morning, everyone. I heard a startling statistic from the Military Times that 54% of people would not recommend enlisting to an 18-year-old that they know. Whether that's a neighbor kid, their own children, whatever it is. For some reason, understandably, I suppose, a lot of them would still recommend going the officer route. But as someone who is only enlisted, I figure it's time to give my perspective. So, assuming you fit the demographic that most people do, you're fresh out of high school, you have no job skills. You have a high school diploma, and with some branches, a GED. You're going in with zero skills, and they give you a good job. It doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter if it's military, police, the infantry, or a desk job. You can literally be an accountant with just a high school degree, for example. You know, we call them pogues. I have a video about it. Personnel other than grunt. Just be a pogue. You're worried about deploying and going to combat. Yeah, there's always a chance. There's a chance. But is their first choice to go to combat gonna be someone who pays your bill, pay, who does your pay? No, that's not no. So yeah, people might judge you for going the poke route, but who cares? You're gonna get benefits. You'll probably even get hurt along the way. It's bound to happen. There's no judgment. Just if you feel like you want to join the military but you're worried about combat, there are non-deployable jobs. Or I guess non-deployable units, but you have to get one of the jobs that puts you in a non-deployable unit. So, take that with a grain of salt. You get the free college. You have to serve at least 3 years to get the 4 years of free college. It's a pretty good deal. I'd say, especially because they're paying tuition and fees. You get a book stipend, you get a housing allowance every month. Wonderful deal. Post 9/11 GI Bill, chef's kiss. Fantastic. Even while you're in, you can use tuition assistance. You can get a bunch of a degree knocked out. I know people personally that came in, they were almost college graduates. They were a semester or two away from being done with their bachelor's degree. They come in, they use tuition assistance, they finish their bachelor's degree, and even work on part of their master's while they're enlisted. Healthcare while you're in the military, completely free. Sometimes it's great care, sometimes it kind of sucks. That depends on your unit. But guess what? It's free. Even though it sucks sometimes, it's free. What are you going to do about that? And as soon as you get out, you get VA healthcare, which there's horror stories about, but guess what? That's still free. You still get to get seen at least once every 2 years, even at worst. And it's free. You get VA disability if you get hurt. Sprain your ankle once during a run, go to medical, get it examined, and guess what? You might get an extra $200 a month just from a sprained ankle once you get out. And that's not even including any other injuries that you get. Job security is the best in the nation for active duty military service. They literally can't fire you unless you break the law. So don't be a criminal and you can't get fired. I mean, show up on time in the right uniform at the right place, and they can never fire you unless you're a criminal. People respect you a lot when you get out. People value what you have to say. Um, People will often ask your perspective. I'll have family members and members of my community just come up to me and be like, well, as a prior service Marine, how do you feel about this? It's like, why? I was enlisted for 4 years. Stop. I wasn't dictating public policy as a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, I promise. Uh, um, so, so there's this thing called veterans preference that it applies to federal jobs. You get preference when being hired to federal jobs. It's incredible. You'll have to look up veterans preference. It's a point-based system. You'll have to look into what you're eligible for once you get out. Some states even offer veterans preference. It's incredible. You can get priority for getting hired for good jobs even when you get out. Um Another thing, random things. A lot of states have property tax exemptions for vets. You can get lifetime hunting and fishing licenses in some states. You just have to look at it. Do 4 years as a desk jockey in the military and get taken care of for the rest of your life. I mean, who cares what people say about you? It's worth it. I just want to encourage people that it is worth it to enlist. Okay? Um and I have this phrase about the military, okay? The military is not for everyone. But if you're eligible to join, there's a place for everyone. You don't think there's people playing Dungeons and Dragons in the barracks right now? There are. There's people who go to wine tastings. There's people who make paintings. There's so many different types of people. You meet people from every culture in the world. You have to learn about new accents. You have to learn about other people's hobbies. I'll give you a good example. So there was one evening where I was sitting around the barracks before I got married, and I heard Mexican music being played. I couldn't understand what they were singing in Spanish, but it sounded pretty good. So I walk outside, and I was wondering what was going on. And there were a bunch of Asian people out there cooking Mexican food. It was the coolest thing. And a couple Hispanic people came back up and they're like, oh, yeah, we're all just hanging out. Do you want to have a drink with us? I'm like, sure. I'm just a white guy. Like, I'm just a random white guy. And they're just like, yeah, come hang out with us. It's the weekend. Everyone's hanging out. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to deny that. You get to meet so many interesting people. You get to make lifelong friends while enlisted, because nothing's political. As long as you're doing the right thing, you're fine. As far as officers go, I have friends that were officers, and everything is so political. And you don't get that when you're enlisted. You just hang out with your buddies and do the right thing. And you get benefits for the rest of your life. And if you're worried about deployments, just be a pogue. It's okay. Some people will judge you. Most people won't. It's not for everyone, but there's a place for everyone if you're eligible to enlist. I'm not gonna tell you, you should definitely do it. Go do it today. No, but it's a viable option, guys. It's not as bad as everyone makes it seem. It can be. It can be that bad. But that's not everyone. Not everyone goes through all that. Other creators have made so many more videos talking about the enlistment process and, day-to-day life in certain types of units and stuff like that. Other content creators make funny videos about all of this that I'm talking about. Follow them, learn more. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, because 54% of people recommend not being enlisted. I mean, one of my best friends is a Mustang officer. He was enlisted before he commissioned. And yeah, the enlisted life isn't, sunshine and roses. But I mean, the Marine Corps said it best. We didn't promise you a rose garden. So, of course, some days are going to be awful. But I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it.